You came for the pint, but you ended up in Scary Larry's House of Horrors. Wrong turn, bitches. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of season 3, aka the losers list here on Scary Larry's Pint. Oh, fuck.
Fuck.
On Scary.
Pint, oh, fuck.
On Scary Larry's House of Horrors.
We got something here.
You like that?
Yeah.
All right, Larry, what's going on, man? You ready to talk about a film that is horrific tonight?
I am so ready to speak of horrific things.
Horrific things. Yep. I'm John. That's Larry. With us tonight. Now, so this is a special episode, a special fun episode, because we've got a guy who's never been on the show before.
Dun, dun, dun.
But he's a good friend of the show. He's a Pint insider. If you're not a Pint insider, you don't know what that is.
Yeah, you're fucking up.
You're fucking up. I'm going to tell you right now, Patreon/The Pint. Get on it. We got Bob with us. Bob, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All the way from the wilds of Rhode Island.
Yeah.
So wild out there.
It is the wilds, that's for sure.
That's for sure. So what's going on out there in Rhode Island nowadays?
Lots of police cars driving around.
Nice.
Airplanes flying over. You know,
Oof.
homeless people
Hotbed of
telling you to
activity.
go fuck yourself when you don't give them a nickel.
Wow.
A nickel.
Wow.
That's all they want is a nickel, huh?
Yeah.
That's all I had.
I had a homeless gentleman a few years ago tell me went to a Rush concert with a buddy of mine, and a homeless gentleman it was in Hartford at the Civic Center. This is like 1994. He comes over and he's like, "Can you spare some something?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure. Hold on one second." And my buddy reaches into his car and grabs a handful of change from the ashtray, and the guy says, "I don't do change."
What?
Nice.
Yeah. And that is your lesson for the beggars not choosers thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I just always thought, I'll never forget that. I don't do change.
Yeah.
So
now, I'm very interested in what
that's
your buddy's
respectful.
answer was.
he literally said, well, then you get nothing.
Yeah.
And we walked away.
Good.
But, and again, it's weird. Because
And he's like, I'll do the change. All
But you
right.
could have shoot him in the nuts. Just shoot right to the nuts.
shoot right to the nuts. Did not.
Yeah, could have. Would have been, I think it would have been acceptable.
I think so.
In that situation.
I think so. Yeah. But anyways, so here's the season 3 of House of Horrors. And the way it works is we talked about it in the last episode, Street Trash. Larry came up with a bunch of movies he wanted to talk about for seasons 1 and 2. We rolled dice. We put the vote out to you guys, and you voted. And we did 20 movies, but obviously there was a lot that never got talked about. So I said to Larry, let's do a truncated 3rd season, and we'll do 5 movies. You pick the 5 out of all these movies that you really want to talk about.
Yeah.
So on the last episode, we talked about Street Trash. Larry, what movie are we talking about today?
Tonight, we're going to talk about one of my favorite slasher movies, 1981's The Prowler.
The Prowler. So Bob is a listener. He's a good friend. I was talking to Bob at one of your shows, Larry, Connecticut Cult Classics, ConnecticutCultClassics.com, and I told him that we were going to be doing season 3 Losers List, and I gave him the list of films we were doing, and we had already talked about him coming, and he said, I've got to do The Prowler.
Yeah, perfect.
I've got to do The Prowler. So he didn't say I got to do The Lord, Larry.
It's okay.
But he
I
said,
understand.
I got to do
It's
The
a
Prowler.
good movie, though, Larry.
I agree.
He did say he liked it.
I do like it. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking
I got to watch it
Mermaids.
again, though. I think I'm going to watch it again.
Polish mermaids. How can you go wrong?
I'm going to see how we go wrong on this one.
Oh, we're not going wrong. That's
So-
gonna be gorgeous. It's going to be a gorgeous film.
So, Larry, we talked about you have a shirt on.
I do.
A couple years ago, you went. So, The Prowler takes place in a very specific location. In the film, it's supposed to be Avalon
Bay.
California.
Yeah, Avalon Bay.
But it's filmed in Cape May, New Jersey, right?
Correct.
And what is the name of this? It's like a banquet hotel.
It's the Inn at Cape May.
Okay.
It was called something different when they filmed it, but for the past few years, it's been called the Inn at Cape May.
Okay. So you went, you took your wife, Jen.
Yep.
No salad dressing, right?
No, there was no. I think she did have a salad that night, but there was no dressing
Dry.
involved.
Very dry.
I still don't get that.
Yeah, no.
Nobody
Dry
does.
salad.
She likes a dry salad, unless over at the hibachi. You know, they give you like that orange ginger.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
likes that.
That is good, though.
That's it, though. That's the only dressing she
That's-
will eat on her salad. Yeah.
That's respectable.
Well, she does her thing, you know?
She does her thing.
So, yeah, I'd gotten, I think my friend Steven had posted about it. I've talked about him before. He's the big horror locations guy. He
Right.
travels around the country to go to different movie locations. So he'd posted about this. It's Kenny Caperton who does the on-set cinema. He does every few years. This was the second time he'd done it. He gets in touch with the Inn at Cape May. He gets the hall where the graduation scene was filmed, and he shows the movie, shows the Prowler there. And so a lot of people make a night out of it, get a room at the hotel because all the dorm scenes were actually in the hotel
Right.
as well.
It did not seem like a dorm. It seemed like a hotel.
Which it was. Actually,
Right.
I sent you pictures the other night when I was watching it again. I was like, that's the room I stayed in right there. I was like, there, fuck it is. So yeah, and it was a lot of fun. We made a weekend out of it. Had no idea whatsoever, but Curtis and Amy and Justin from Vinegar Syndrome were down there as well. Just
Okay.
ran into them and spent the weekend with them, basically walking around Cape May. There's like a bunch of little shops. Bought a lot of beef jerky.
A lot of beef jerky.
A lot of beef jerky.
I like beef
There was
jerky. I'm a fan.
Dude, ask Curtis about it. It was this cherry maple beef jerky. I still think about it sometimes.
That doesn't sound good. I'll be honest
No, I'm
with you.
telling you.
It does sound
ask
good.
Him,
It does
ask him. It was
Cherry
fucking-
maple bomb?
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Ask Curtis if you think I'm fucking lying. There was like a peanut butter shop and like a fudge shop.
You really had a good time.
I did.
Did you guys go antiquing the next weekend?
Did not. I'm not an antique guy, but if you give me beef jerky, fudge, and peanut butter, not together, I like it. I enjoy it.
So that's Larry's Excellent Adventures in Cape May,
Right.
New Jersey. So cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Prowler, also known as, in many other countries, Rosemary's Killer.
All right.
Shittier name.
Yeah.
I like the Prowler.
Yeah.
I gotta be
But it
honest.
actually makes more sense.
It certainly
Yeah,
does.
it does.
Yeah, than the name of
certainly
the Prowler because there was a Prowler mentioned in the movie, but
There is. There's
That
a
was-
there
Prowler.
was
that
a guy
it.
who
Just
was like a
mentioned.
few miles down
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
had nothing to do with the general plot of the film, but whatever.
October 9th, 1981. This was released.
Good.
Directed by a guy named Joseph Zito.
Right.
He directed Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter, which is a bullshit
favorite.
title. Is that your favorite?
That's my favorite one.
It's a good one. It's on the strength of this film, of course. You know.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly. And you know what else he got after that?
This is
Invasion USA.
and
love
missing
that
in
movie.
action before that.
He did Missing in Action.
Two great Chuck Norris.
He had a
films.
Chuck Norris run.
Yeah. And then-
Invasion USA has the greatest ever guy.
Everything. It has the greatest ever everything.
Yeah.
There's a scene where a woman's snorting cocaine with a straw, and the bad guy slaps the back of her head, and the straw like goes into her brain.
Yes.
It's terrifying.
That's amazing.
It's fucking
I
horrifying.
love Invasion USA.
Bob, how do you feel about Chuck Norris?
I love Chuck Norris.
You're a Chuck Norris guy.
Fucking
Code of
Americans.
Silence is my favorite Chuck Norris.
Oh, is it?
movie. I love
Missing in
that
Action
movie.
2 is mine.
That's a
Braddock.
good. I've seen
Braddock.
that movie so many times too.
I'm going to go with Lone Wolf McQuaid.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
a good choice.
We did the Octagon on the show earlier this year. It was not the Octagon. That's not strong.
The whispering in that movie, I just don't.
We discussed that at
get
length.
past that.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Octagon
Oh,
recently?
sure. Well, no, recently.
know.
10 years.
I know what this is.
Oh, yeah. It's very whispery.
Ninja.
Yeah.
Like what? It's the weirdest voiceover of
It's
all
very
time.
whispery.
Written by a guy named Glenn Leopold. Who? This is crazy.
I love this.
This is crazy.
I know where you're going.
He was like a writer on the Smurfs.
Yeah. He was like a big cartoon guy.
Big cartoon guy. He did the Smurfs. There was a bunch of other stuff, but I also picked, because I was a fan of it as a kid, the Godzilla cartoon.
Oh,
I can still remember.
I ever saw it.
Bum bum ba bum
I ever saw
bum bum ba bum 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 Godzilla.
You know,
Godzilla.
that's like Here Comes the Bride is what that is.
You're probably right.
Zuki.
Gadzuki.
Yeah.
I am. That's you just hummed Here Comes the Bride.
Well, I think I did it more menacingly.
Okay.
You know, Here Comes the Bride would be like, bum, bum. Okay, I did the same fucking thing. I did the same thing. And then the co-writer is a guy named Neil Barbera. I don't know if he's one of the,
Yes, he is.
Is he? Okay,
He's
because
related to Hannah.
He's the younger brother.
Yeah.
because he also is it's so crazy. This is a violent.
This is basically a cartoon.
It's a cartoon because Neil Barbera, he was Scooby's Laugh Olympics and Yogi's Gang, right?
Right.
Like, it's just crazy that these guys that's their stuff. And then also, this is also crazy for this movie. Eric Lewald, Mark, and Mike Edens are credited. 3 people are credited with additional dialogue for this movie. 2 writers, and then 3 guys that had to come in and punch up the dialogue. Apparently,
Okay.
I find that interesting.
I don't find this a dialogue-heavy movie.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Not to, Bob, do you find this the type of movie that not only would not need one person to punch it up, but there's 3 guys?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect anyone to have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not a Tarantino film.
Certainly not.
No,
Where there's a lot of really highbrow fucking...
no scenes in a restaurant.
Yeah.
No, there's no monologues.
long
Waxing
monologue, right.
poetic.
Right.
No monologues.
Right.
All right, so let's get into the cast.
I really never knew the 3 dialogue guys.
3.
That's amazing.
3.
Seems like a waste of money. What do I know?
It's
It was just a couple of dudes that were hanging out, friends. They just wanted to be credited. With
very
something.
possibly.
Yeah.
Very possibly. All right, let's cast it up here. All right.
My God, it's full of stars.
First off, Vicki Dawson
Yep.
plays Pam McDonald. First of all, I'm going to say one thing about this cast right off the bat.
Yeah.
Everybody was in soap operas.
Oh, yeah.
Like
This
you
is
tell.
a soap opera cast, right?
Right.
All right, so Pam McDonald, As the World Turns and Another World. Bob, I got a question for you. First of all, is she not essentially Amy Steele from Friday the 13th Part 2?
Yeah, she 100%.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too when I was watching this.
Totally.
Yeah.
Number 2, Bob. Could you determine in this movie whether she was good looking or not good looking?
Oh, she was hot.
Okay, because I felt like there was points where I'm like, she's hot.
Yeah.
And then she turned her head and I'd go, what the fuck happened there?
Yeah.
Did you feel that
Bad
way, Larry?
angle.
She had bad lighting, like in Seinfeld.
She seemed to have a pretty pronounced jaw.
Yeah.
But she had the Amy Steele thing going on. I like Amy Steele.
Yeah.
And then, look, this is a college student who has 2 really nice formal wear dresses in her closet.
does, yeah.
Right? But I every time I would see her, I'd go, I can't put my finger on it, but I don't know if she's attractive or not.
See, I didn't really, I don't want to alienate your core audience here, but I'm not a big fan of blondes.
Okay.
It's not my.
My core audience of all the blondes.
All the blonde women listening. I didn't want to make them mad. You know what? The first thing I saw this woman in, and I think the only thing I've ever seen her in,
Was it either As the World Turns or Another World?
it was not. My mother was a guiding light person, so
Okay.
those were the only soap operas. I always think about this sometimes. This is a strange movie to have seen in the theater. But for some reason, I saw Carbon Copy with Denzel Washington.
Oh,
in the
and
theater.
George Segal.
Yes, and she is in it. She plays George Segal's daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I've ever seen.
That is a weird movie to see in the theater.
Right? I don't know why to this day my parents decided to take me to see that movie. Maybe they took me to see something else that was sold out. I have no recollection of it other than sitting in the theater. I'm like, wow, this is a really strange movie to be watching at. Maybe I was 8 years old. Like,
Yeah.
this is bizarre.
Do you have any, Bob, do you have any movies and that you saw at some point in your life where you're like, why did I go see that in the theater?
Oh, good Lord, yeah.
Like anything you think of off the top of your
Animal
head?
Rising.
Oh,
for one.
yeah.
My son and I were sitting there like, we paid for this.
Yeah.
Yep.
I always think about, I saw, there was, in the earlier mid 90s, there was a Beatles biopic about Pete Best called Backbeat.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I went and saw that. And I'm like,
Why?
and
Are you a huge Beatles fan?
I'm a Beatles fan, but I grew into my Beatles fandom later than that.
Okay.
I think there was just a period in my life where I just went to the movies a lot.
Just to see.
Yeah.
But see, my parents took me to see this.
Yeah.
And it's not like, you heard me say Denzel Washington. This was like his first movie.
This is pre
He was
St.
nobody.
Elsewhere.
He
Yeah.
was no one. Nobody knew who Denzel was. So it's not like they took me because, oh my God, this fucking amazing actor is in it. Nobody
Right.
knew who Denzel was. I don't know why my parents
Interesting.
took me to see Carbon Copy in the movie
Interesting.
theater.
I remember seeing another one that I think it was weird. Like, why did I go see that at 20, 22 years old?
Right.
Bushwhacked with Daniel Stern, where he
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
Why would you see anything with Daniel Stern?
Well, no.
I fucking hate Daniel Stern.
Come on.
I
The
do.
voice of the Wonder Years, man.
I understand that. Doesn't mean I like him.
Breaking away.
No.
Okay. All right. Bob, Daniel Stern, yay or nay?
I like him in Chud.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wet Bandits.
He
Right.
was one of the Wet Bandits and one of the Sticky Bandits.
He was, yeah, they changed their name in the second one. All right, let's get back to the cast. Now, this guy here, Christopher Goutman.
Which one was he?
Do you ever notice when people have gout, they call it the gout?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know. I have a few friends who have the gout.
But nobody calls the AIDS or, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's not like,
I have the diabetes.
right. But you don't ever say that. You
I don't
would
say
just say,
that.
I have diabetes.
Yeah.
But when people have gout, they literally
Actually,
go, I have
you
the
don't
gout.
say that anymore because of Wilford. Now you say diabetes.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
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 But which one was this? Because I don't know any of these.
This is
people's
the
names.
sheriff. He played.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the deputy. I apologize.
Deputy.
Mark London.
So Cillian Murphy, basically.
kind of Killian Murphy.
He's
Yeah.
got some serious guns going on, man.
Yeah.
The thing I can't stop noticing in this whole movie is the tiger beat hair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, that's
There's
just
a
natural.
lot of feathered hair. In there.
Feather. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob, did you go through a feathered hair
Oh,
period?
fuck yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I want pictures on that later. So this guy ended up not really being much of an actor, but he was a director of soap operas, All My Children and Days of Our Lives.
Nice.
I'm still curious because I saw this movie once before. Larry,
Okay.
you showed it
Yep.
on a pandemic watch party.
Okay.
Lawrence Tierney.
Yeah.
Why is he in this movie?
This was before he planned the jewelry heist.
Yeah,
in Reservoir Dogs.
It just seems like you didn't need Lawrence Tierney to just sit
in a window,
wheelchair
Yeah.
and then outside, like 2 scenes,
grab somebody once,
right? Yeah.
like kung fu grip.
Think about it. Lawrence Tierney was never like a fucking.
But it still seems like he's a little too big to have played that role. Where his two scenes are his two scenes
in the window.
in a window watching a girl's take her shirt off.
Yeah.
And then grabbing a girl.
Yeah. By the wrist.
Hadn't seen this in a couple of years. We watched it at a watch party and things are, like different. Everybody's laughing and, making comments. I was like waiting for us to get back to him.
Yeah.
Never got back to him.
No.
No. He was talked about.
Oh, well.
all through the whole thing.
Here's the thing.
He's Major Chatham, right? Major Chatham.
Lawrence Tierney plays the character of Major Chatham, whose name is repeated no less than 17,000 times in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
There is a scene where two characters are in his house looking for him, where the entire dialogue for 8 minutes of screen time is Major Chatham.
Which I wonder if those 3 guys punched that up.
They probably did.
Yeah.
You think
They did. They were
guys, not enough Major Chathams in this scene.
I think what's his name here? Eric Lewald came in and went, we said Major Chatham 17 times. I got an idea. What's that, Eric? 2 more times.
Yeah.
Fucking print it. Print it.
Go.
Go for it.
Go.
Lawrence Tierney, you might know him from Reservoir Dogs
Joe
and
Cabot.
Seinfeld. He was Elaine's father on Seinfeld.
And
Right.
as the customer at the bar in Arthur yelling for his hard roll.
You're right.
Of course I am.
Oh,
You're right.
damn.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh,
You're right.
man.
Yeah.
I went back and rewatched Arthur like 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
We discussed it one night on a podcast.
Right.
The next night I watched it. Holds up
Still holds up.
immeasurably.
Yeah.
I think I gave it on Letterboxd 4.5 stars.
Sure.
It's a brilliant comedy that I had not seen in so long. I laughed through the whole fucking thing.
Absolutely.
Dudley Moore
Is a genius.
he was always great, but that role, and unfortunately, it didn't repeat it in the sequel.
Oh,
the
Arthur
sequel.
2 on the Rocks is a fucking gem. Okay?
I don't think Bob's agreeing with you on that.
All right, it's not a great movie. Yeah, I'll admit it's not great. But I still watch it once in a while.
I get that.
I own it.
Kind of a comfort thing.
Yeah.
Well, I have some movies that I still watch. And,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say it right here. I don't believe in the concept of guilty pleasures. I think you like what you like.
Yeah.
But I also can say I like some things that are fucking pretty garbagey.
Sure.
Bob, give us something, one thing that you're like, I love this thing. And
Larry knows what I'm going to say.
Arthur 2 on the Rocks?
No,
Okay.
no, Video did. That's
dead.
a fucking guilty pleasure of mine. It's a piece of shit.
It is not a good movie.
But I don't know. I just.
But at least Michael St. Michael's is in it. So there's
Yeah.
that.
oh, the Greasy Strangler guy.
Yeah.
Larry's heard me too much talk about that. My friends have heard me talk about it way too much. My kids.
Yeah.
And it's to the point where it's not funny anymore.
I think people are still angry that I showed that on one of the watch parties. So.
I wasn't.
Are you fucking kidding
I think
me?
I was the only one who was watching it.
I think you were the only one left. Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah. Well, you've missed the last 40, so that makes perfect sense.
Was it in the new run?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so Farley Granger plays Sheriff Fraser. He was in Rope. We did an episode with Shawnee Mack last year, Hitchcock's Rope, and Strangers on a Train. So this guy was was a pretty big movie star way back in the day. Cindy or Candy Weintraub.
I love that you can't read your own.
Yeah, I certainly
That's
cannot.
my favorite thing.
She played Lisa. She's also in a film that we will be talking about pretty soon here, Humanoids from the Deep.
Yes.
Tom Bray, I put him on here because he played Ben. He's the nerdy guy that's trying to get some pussy in the basement. And that creepy, who the fuck is going to fuck in that? No matter how horny you are, Go anywhere else.
Yeah, literally.
Go
Outside.
anywhere else. Go outside.
What was the TV show he was on?
That's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
That's why I included him, even though he has a small part. I loved Riptide as a
Yes,
kid.
that's what it was.
He was the Boz. He was the computer. Joe Penny and Perry King.
Yep.
They were like private eyes. One of them had a speedboat, and Tom Bray was like the 1984 computer expert. Like when you had a modem where you put a fucking phone on a modem. And it lasted a year or two. And it was right at that time when I was watching all those shows.
Both seasons, yep.
Yeah, good stuff. Riptide.
Yep.
All right. I have one more here. Let's see. David Cedarholm. He played Carl. He was in The Hunt for Red October.
Oh.
And Ryan's Hope, another soap opera. I think Carl was the guy that gets the knife in the top of the head.
Yes, he is.
This was filmed in October of 1980 to January of 81 in, as we said, Cape May, New Jersey. $1 million budget. The visual effects were by a certain guy named Tom Savini, who did Day of the Dead and Maniac.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, we've all heard that name. All right.
And Friday the
Vaguely.
13th, Part 4. So
Friday the 13th, Part 4.
Since we're talking about it.
Yep, Joseph Zito took him there too.
Yep.
So, Larry, let's open this thing up. This thing opens on a fucking old school newsreel,
Yeah.
right? Like, buy war bonds. Japan surrenders. You know, like that kind of thing. Like,
Right.
you almost think for a minute. Now, this is on Tubi, by the way. If you want
okay.
to check it out, it's on Tubi. Larry's got the fucking 4K restoration disc, I'm sure.
I do.
But I watched it on Tubi. When I pressed play, and I hadn't seen this in a while, I was
thought you
like,
were watching
I was
the
like,
wrong movie?
am I watching the wrong
Yeah,
movie?
I thought
Or did
the
I get
same fucking thing.
did I get transported back to 1945
Yeah,
and I'm
'cause
watching
it's black and white.
Yeah.
And it's a huge ship, like a destroyer.
It's like a destroyer, like packed to the fucking gills.
Yeah, like thousands and thousands of GIs returning from World War II. And there's a voiceover, right? The voiceover is like, the boys returning from war, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
talking about their girlfriends, and, some of them got a Dear John letter, which I've never heard of. I've never heard a Dear John letter. That's a thing.
What?
What the fuck? Where would I hear? Nobody's ever sent me one. Why would you call me John? Are all their names John?
Wait a minute.
Is every sailor on that boat named John?
Wait.
What? Okay. We have to.
Are you you amaze me sometimes. Are you telling me you've never heard of the concept of Dear John?
No. Never.
Bob.
Of course I have.
Yeah, there was actually a TV
got-
show.
Well,
in
your
the-
name is John, so you've probably received a lot of Dear John letters.
I've never received one, but a Dear John letter is when your spouse or loved one writes you a letter and fucking hikes.
I've never heard of that in my life.
That's fucking nuts.
Why is it called a Dear John letter?
I think it's a colloquialism or whatever, like John being just a popular male name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never heard
There was
of that.
actually a show with Judd Hirsch in the 80s
Yep.
called Dear
That
John.
was a great show.
It was a good
man.
show, and the
Great
plot
show.
was his wife left him, and he ended up in a support group.
Yeah.
And yeah,
No, never heard of it.
fucking I'm. That's why I like you so much, because sometimes the weirdest things you'll be like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, no. So I've never, except for this movie, and every time I watch the movie, I'm like, I don't get it.
I'm gonna message Stu later on and ask him if he knows what a Dear John letter, because Stu also can be kind of surprising sometimes.
Can he?
Oh yeah, you know.
I've never noticed.
You know.
All right. Never heard of corned beef. So
That's crazy. Yeah. Stu
Never heard of corn.
No, he's
Never
what do you
heard of
put
corned beef.
Corn and ground beef? No, Stu, that's not what you do at all. That
Yeah,
is
we
nothing.
did a over the course of like a year and a half, we did all of the Friday the 13th movies as video reviews. And we got to one of them, and I don't know how, but the corned beef came up. And he was like, what are you talking about?
He was just blown away.
Blown away. So like we explained, we had a whole like half an hour discussion about corned beef, pastrami, all this stuff. And then the next episode, we made him go out and buy, I think, pastrami and try it live on the air.
Yeah.
Because we're like, and this guy's from fucking Pittsburgh.
Right.
He's not from like a vegan community in the hills of the fucking Andes. He's from a place where people eat meat for fucking like, midnight snack. They get up and they chew on a fucking a loaf of fucking, beef.
He's from the home of
So
Permanente
was he a
brothers.
fan? Did he become a fan?
He said he liked it.
He's like, it's all right.
But like he still is grossed out by the concept of like a boiled New England dinner.
Right.
Like cabbage and what? And I'm like,
But he's still never had that kind of corned beef. Like,
right.
He's only had like, that crap you get at the deli. Like,
Yeah.
So he's like, now I've had corned beef. I'm like, nah, not really. That's not really it.
And he's also very like he's like, where's the corn supposed to be? And we're like, it's corned. It's a process.
I tried to explain corning to him, and it didn't really work.
We love Stu. Check out Stu's show, The Stu World Order.
Absolutely.
And his website.
His Pop-Tart Quest.
His Pop-Tart Quest, swoproductions.com.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so the boys are returning home from war. And it talks about Dear John letters, which is apparently a fucking thing.
Yep.
And then they show a Dear John letter, right? And
yeah.
It's the Dear John letter from Rosemary to her boyfriend.
They never say the name, right? Or do they say the name?
Thought it was John. Didn't we just fucking talk about it? I thought every jilted lover is John.
No.
Okay, whatever. So that was a joke. I was just joking. And that was being facetious. So yeah, they show a letter back in the days when people still wrote in cursive. So you kids these days wouldn't be able to understand this letter probably if you looked at it on the screen. Thankfully, I went to Catholic school, so I could still understand this.
Bob, do you remember on like those papers they had the line and then the dotted line and then the bottom line,
Of course.
and you had to touch either the top line for capital or the middle line or
Dude, Sister Canisius would fuck you up in my class if you didn't fucking do your writing right.
Yeah.
Like, she was very serious about handwriting and prepositions. Like, you had to know all your fucking prepositions and you had to write your goddamn
Still to this
capital
day,
I's correctly.
none of that shit I've had to use.
Of course you haven't. What do you...
no.
Yeah, what are you using? Nobody uses fucking cursive anymore.
Who writes in cursive? It's not the 1800s.
Just sign your name.
Why didn't they teach us to use a quill?
I don't write in calligraphy either. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
You got a feathered pen in your back pocket?
over here writing in calligraphy. A friend of mine wrote in calligraphy at a test one time. That was hysterical. All you heard was squeaking throughout. But the teacher was like, "Ron, what are you doing?" She goes over and he's just been writing all his answers in calligraphy. Like, Jesus Christ, Ron. We're getting off topic. So there's a Dear John letter, right? And it's like, hey, enough of this shit. I can't
wait for you.
You said I can't wait anymore. We don't know how long you're going to be over there. I've got other stuff to do.
Other guys apparently.
Other guys.
Fucking hooker.
I'm sorry.
Early stages of Tinder.
Yeah, I'm worried about you, but I gotta go. Love, Rosemary, and she drew like a nice little rose on the end of her Y.
My question to that is, Bob, let me ask you this. You get a Dear John letter. Do you want a fucking artistic endeavor at the bottom of it?
No, don't put a smiley face.
don't put a
Don't
I'm
smiley
not paying attention to that shit.
Don't draw a rose. We're at war.
I don't know if I would get past the first. Like,
You're at war.
Yeah.
You're fucking. You know how horrifying it must have been in World War II.
Oh, look, there's a rose at the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, she left me, but she drew a rose.
What I love about it is she's like, I can't wait for you anymore.
Yeah.
It's like this guy's in a fucking foxhole and you can't wait to get your pussy plugged.
Yeah.
Like, give him another couple months. He'll be home.
This guy's got fucking Germans shooting at the back of his fucking skull.
Trust me, when he gets home, he will fuck you in half.
Yeah.
Just wait like an extra 2 months.
Right.
This poor fucking guy.
So cut from the Dear John letter, and then we go to the Inn at Cape, which is what, Avalon
Avalon Bay?
Avalon Bay.
Yeah.
I don't think it calls it a hotel. Whatever it is, it's their graduation dance, right? 1940, whatever graduation dance, and Rosemary's there. You find out it's Rosemary with her new boyfriend Ron.
Real cunt.
Yeah, he is a real fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
Talking about how much money his dad has.
Yeah, it's like you're jealous because my dad has more money than you'll ever have. It's like, go you can't wait for this guy to get fucking killed.
Which, spoiler alert.
It's coming.
Yeah,
it's
so
common, that's for sure.
So he's like, hey, let's leave this jive joint or whatever the fuck they said back in the fucking 40s, and takes her out to the gazebo. Gazebo. You have to say it like that because of Dead Zone. Remember when he's up in the gazebo and he's calling the gazebo?
Oh, yeah.
So anytime I hear the word gazebo, I have to say it like that. So takes her to the gazebo, which is actually like a few miles down the road at a church, making out with her, and then you see somebody cut the gazebo's made up with Christmas lights. Right. Somebody cuts them, which leads me to believe they would be electrocuted, but I don't understand electricity. Maybe not.
No, he had gloves, I think.
If he had gloves on,
Okay.
and if they're insulated.
I'm
an electrician, so
I gotcha. I'm not Thomas Edison. I don't.
So what were you doing on that night, Bob? Where were you?
Apparently, you know all about this. Yeah, so apparently you can snip the line. So he snips, and then she's like, oh my God, it's dark, and we're so scared. And then you see, because I think there's like 4 or 5 different scenes of this guy lacing up his boots. I guess his boots untie a lot. So he laces, you see like a war-style boot, an army-style boot, military.
Boot.
Yeah. Those boots are not comfortable.
It doesn't look comfortable.
I owned a pair of
Yeah, no.
His whole getup is not comfortable.
No, his face is covered. Like, it's all a mess. It doesn't look, it doesn't look nice. So then the Prowler, it's not the Prowler. The military guy appears and he jams a fucking pitchfork through Roy's chest,
Back. Right to his back,
through his back, which
Yeah.
we all appreciate. And then it comes out his chest and goes through Rosemary's, and kills them both, and then leaves Rose on her face.
Yep.
Correct, on her face,
On her face or in her hand, I can't remember.
somewhere.
It was on one of the railings right
Yeah.
next to her head. It was,
Yeah. So it was a classic Savini, right? Pitchfork through one person into another person. Savini used the same thing in Friday the 13th.
So interesting fact about this this film: the killer is played by 3 people in this movie,
And one of them being
one of them being at the very end. I won't tell you who the killer is. We'll get there. But in the very last scene when he's unmasked, it's one of the actors we mentioned. The assistant director, Peter Giuliana, he plays him in all the scenes where he's like walking or all that stuff, like chasing people.
tying his shoe.
And in every kill scene, it's Tom Savini,
Right.
because he had to be able. These are pretty elaborate kills. For the close-ups, he had to be able to work
The stuff, yeah.
the stuff. So Tom Savini, the actor we won't mention, and the AD were all the killers in this. So Bob, we have a time jump. How far ahead do we go now? About
I think it was 18 years.
35.
No, that's
35.
right. It
Yeah,
was
'cause we
30.
go to-
That's why I was kind of like trying to do the math on that.
Yeah, it's
It just didn't make sense.
1945 to 1980.
It didn't add up to me.
Yeah,
It's 45 to 80. So
it's 45 to 80, 35 years.
They even say they hadn't had a dance in 35 years.
Right.
Right. It's
And
like,
they're-
like Footloose.
They're getting prepared to have a Footloose style dance, another graduation.
Yeah.
And we meet all these archetypical, characters. We have the blonde, the Amy Steele lookalike who is dating the local deputy, and we have the kind
Are
of-
they dating, though?
Well, they seem to be. She definitely gets jealous.
It's
It's a thing.
implied. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's implied because when they do go out for lunch at one point, and then when he dances with the
Yeah,
with
she
the
gets
fucking
super. Was that Lisa she danced with?
I don't remember her
who it
name.
was,
She was definitely a
She was very concerned about a prowler in like 2 states over, and
Yeah.
worried that
I have-
he was gonna,
Yeah.
I got a question about that.
No,
Okay.
I didn't get that.
A question about that.
Yeah.
Well, without spoiling it,
Sure.
a character in the film gets a call
Mm-hmm.
about a prowler 2 states over coming.
Yep.
Pardon me. And that character turns. I just threw up on you. And that character turns out to be the killer.
Yeah.
Was that call bullshit? Do you think that call was just bullshit to make them
No.
think to throw the scent off?
I think no, because
It was a state police.
yeah, because later on, Cillian Murphy there finds out that the guy was arrested.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I
So
must have
no,
missed that line.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the conversation he had on the phone.
Because she
with
was
one,
still
one of the.
Pam was still thinking it was that because that was the prowler. There was
Right.
he got a call. The sheriff had gotten a call at the beginning saying that there was a prowler who had broken into a store and cut somebody.
Yeah.
And he was on the loose, and they thought he was coming this way. And so for the whole movie, that's kind of like who they think is killing people.
When I hear the word prowler, do you think of someone like?
I think of this movie.
I think of someone who stands in a window and jerks off. That sounds prowlery to
That's
me.
usually what I would think. Of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a guy who like. It's
I
like
think of
oh.
a guy in fatigues
Yeah, I don't
because I
think
saw
of-
this movie in
Well,
like
I'm glad that
81.
because I think I'm like
Yeah.
John. I think of somebody.
If someone said the word prowler to me, I'd immediately be like, "Who's jerking off like outside of the windows in the
Interesting.
neighborhood?"
Interesting.
That's my thought process.
Were you sitting here through this movie hoping like you're like, oh, can't wait till we get to the guy jerking off outside the window?
The big twist.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, yeah.
So they get told this is happening.
It's
right?
like a guy who looks like fucking what's his name from Maniac, just all greasy, fucking just jerking
Spinell?
off. Spinell just-
jerking off.
Yeah.
Has anybody pitched this idea to a porn director?
Once we get finished recording,
might have
yeah.
that.
Once
Yeah.
we get
Might
finished
have
recording, it's
We're
happening.
gonna get in
Yeah.
there. We're
So,
getting in there.
so now we're all these years ahead. We have the sheriff character played by Farley Granger, and his entire story arc in this movie is that he's going fishing. Right? He's leaving to go fishing.
yeah.
He keeps bringing it up. Everybody knows
fishing.
about it. I don't know. Like he gets a call.
guy at the store.
The guy at the store is like, "Is this the
Got-
week of your fishing trip?"
Yeah.
It's like, get out of my life. How do you know
Yeah.
about my fishing trip?
That dude seems to know a lot about people.
Does seem to know a lot, and we also never really learn. But he seems to have like a simple fellow that's like a handyman or
Yeah.
a delivery guy that we don't know why
He's got a slow adult.
he's got a slow.
He's got a slow adult.
He's got a slow adult.
It's like a pet.
It's just got to slow it down.
It's like
We keep doing a dog line out back. He's going back and forth. He's got a forehead like a drive-in movie theater.
so he's a Manning.
His name,
He's-
his name is Mungo. He's a good shit.
Fuck, I love that scene.
That
I
is
love
a
that
good scene.
dude. Fucking Matt Dillon in that goddamn movie.
Matt Dillon's good in that movie. How does my stomach taste? She says.
All right, choppers. Go off,
Choppers. So the sheriff is going out on essentially a fishing trip. He's leaving Deputy Tiger Beat to watch everything.
It's Cillian Murphy.
Right, it's Killian Murphy, Deputy Tiger Beat.
He looks just like him, for Christ's sakes.
And we have like essentially like this. It's mostly a cast of girls, right? Like,
Yeah.
It seems like maybe it's I don't know if it's an all girls college, but they're
No, because they have dudes, but I guess the dudes could be from a different college.
I think it might be an all girls college because you never see
Okay.
any guys.
I never thought
that
of
seem
that.
to be students, right? And they're
Well, there's no student like activity. There's no classes, so
because they're graduating. They had their classes.
well, that's
right?
what I'm saying. So how do you know that there's no dudes in their classes? Maybe it's
you're
just
right.
their dorm. Maybe they're all the girls' dorm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're reading way too far into this.
yeah,
We're in the weeds.
Definitely
Yeah.
reading weeds.
We're in the weeds.
All right, let's get out of there.
So-
Dig our fucking way out.
We get a scene where, and this is where everything kind of starts to happen, right? It all kind of starts with one of the girls taking a shower.
Yeah.
That lasts the entire fucking
The entire movie.
shower takes the entire
She
movie.
showers for like 23 hours.
She's in there for a long
And
time.
nobody questions it. Everybody's like, oh, it's cool. Water's still running.
Nobody, and she's not pruny at all either when
No.
they find her, which is
And the
bullshit.
water doesn't even overflow.
Right.
No.
So everybody's
And she's
getting ready.
sitting on the plug, basically, at that point.
She was, yeah.
Yeah, that water would have overflowed.
Totally.
I have problems.
In the final scene when she walks into the dorm
I'm no
room-
plumber, but that water would have fucking overflowed.
Yeah. Bob is an electrician, not a plumber. How do you feel about that? Would the water have overflowed?
I don't know.
Okay. I could be wrong again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Apparently, I don't know shit about home repair.
I don't either. I certainly don't. I know my limits.
Yeah.
So all the girls are getting ready to go to this dance, and it's going to be a good time. And our
Well, it's the first one in 35 years.
it's 35 years.
Yeah.
Our
John,
main character.
John Lithgow's trying to stop them. Oh,
That's
no, wait.
Footloose.
That's
That's Footloose.
God damn it.
What is our main character's name? I keep forgetting her actual
Ren.
name.
Wasn't it Ren?
Pam.
Oh.
Pam.
No, Ren's Footloose, too. Isn't
Pam.
it?
Yeah.
Fuck.
No.
So,
So
is it Pam? Is a D silent in Pam?
Pam.
Pam.
Pam, not Pam. Oh, I know what you're doing there. I get what you're doing.
I do too.
I think I can help you out with this whole Pam Pan situation.
Yeah. So Pam goes to the dance, and as she's leaving, one of her friends is still showering. She leaves, and then we get the first kind of like the first murder scene. Before the murder scene happens, though, who comes to the showerer's room for a little bit of love? Right, her paramour,
Carl.
you might
Carl.
say.
Yeah.
Carl comes in, and he's all dressed up, and she's taking a shower. She's totally naked, and he's like, "You gonna invite me in?" And she's like, "How fast can you get your clothes off?" And Carl's not nearly as fast as I would think someone would be in that situation.
He was hesitating.
Very lackadaisical. Like he's like, so he sits on the bed, and Bob, like, walk us through this one. Like, what the fuck happens here?
All of a sudden, somebody comes up behind him, puts his hand over his mouth, and then goes the knife.
Fucking like a K-bar.
It was a bayonet or something.
Yeah, I think they call those
Long.
K-bars, right? Like the military knives. Through the fucking top of the skull.
Yep.
You see it. I don't know if you see it go through the mouth.
It goes through the bottom of his
bottom of the fucking
his
of
neck.
the neck. But Bob, what is the absolute best part of this whole fucking scene?
When he goes to pull it out, and then his eyes roll back into his head. That is the most fucked up kill I have seen in slasher films.
His jaw is like
it's just
elongating, and
it's gruesome.
It is totally.
And
it
I
is
still
gruesome.
to this day I still stick to the fact that this is the cruelest kill I've seen in any slasher flick.
All right. It's definitely fucking up there.
It's evil. It's just and Tom Savini, the way he did the makeup effects in that was amazing.
Yeah, the guy's a genius.
Yeah.
Let's give it up for Tom Savini.
Yeah.
So he kills the Carl, and now he goes into the shower room, into the bathroom.
Yep.
And we keep getting this kind of like, it happens multiple times in the movie where the person in the stall can't see outside because it's like a frosted glass type situation. She thinks it's Carl coming to fuck her brains out.
Right.
Her brain's gonna get fucked out, but it ain't by Carl.
No.
So Larry, so this guy's using the K-bar. Earlier in the movie he used I know we mentioned he got stabbed in the back. Did we mention it was a pitchfork?
It was a pitchfork.
So now he basically he just runs her through with the fucking pitchfork.
Yeah, it's another great scene.
Another great scene.
The scream. That's what sends it over.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you get the two different. He first sticks it in a little bit, just the tip.
Just for a minute.
Just gives her the tip.
Just see how this feels.
And then she's so give her a little scream, and then he fucking all the way in and lifts her up, and it's fucking good.
It is fucking good.
It's a good scene. A lot of boob. Not that it's not how I like to see boobs, but
I get what you're saying.
I like when the boobs are not stabbed.
She had nice tits. Let's just be honest, right?
She did have.
Yeah,
She had
it
nice
was good.
tits.
It was
All
good.
right. It's okay.
nice.
We could talk about tits here.
All right.
All right. So she had nice tits, but she's dead now.
She's dead.
So now,
Not in real
meanwhile,
life.
no, she's maybe. I don't know.
She might be.
She might be. Meanwhile, we go back to the dance.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to talk for a second about this band at the dance. Did either of you guys think they were fucking epic?
They were.
Yeah.
I was digging these songs.
Did you see that bassist? He reminded me of Miami Connection.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was getting like the vibes I was getting. Yeah. Fucking God. YK Kim and fucking just not even playing that goddamn thing.
Jesus
Just
Christ.
like why even put strings on the guitar?
I
at that
bought
point?
at CT Horror Fest. I bought at Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah, you got
the big box set of Miami
you have
Connection.
to.
I got
It's
it.
fucking worth it. But that band reminded me so much of the fucking. I was like, is this the same band that later plays at Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Dude, you know what's funny about that?
Because that band was badass too.
Lloyd and I did an episode like 2 weeks ago. We did Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
And I was going to say 2 weeks in a row, I've seen maybe the two best
High school.
early 80s high school fucking dance bands.
Yeah.
Because they were both good. Like Ridgemont High, they play Life in the Fast Lane.
Yep.
This band isn't playing any hits.
Nothing.
They're playing originals and they're fucking tearing ass.
They are. Yeah.
It's really good. So, but while we're there, this is where we get the scene where the deputy comes in and starts dancing with the hoary friend.
Right.
And our heroine is like getting a little pissed off.
Right.
She kind of like gets out of that. But then what happens, Bob, to her dress where she has to go back to her fucking dorm room?
She gets punch spilled on it.
Punch spilled all over it. Which, if you see the scene, she's wearing a white dress, you could barely tell.
Yeah.
You could barely tell. But she's like, fuck it, I got to go back up and freshen
Thankfully,
up.
she has a second.
She's got a how many fucking college girls of that age have that kind of formal wear like that?
Maybe she owns a haberdashery.
Maybe.
I don't even know what a haberdashery is.
But I felt like I knew what you were saying.
Yeah, I like the word.
I was with you.
Do you know what word? I don't know what it means.
What?
I know what it implies.
Okay.
But it's an old timey word.
Yep.
Sundries. Is that like
Yes.
groceries?
It could be. I think it is.
I think that it's got to do with
doesn't know either.
clothing.
You think it's
Sundries?
clothing?
No, I think
Yeah.
it's groceries.
I think it's groceries. I think it's
think
like
it's groceries?
I think it's like back in like the Wild West, there would be a store that would say like meat and sundries.
Yeah.
And then sundries is everything that's not meat.
And down the street is the haberdasherer.
So it's like head cheese.
Head cheese.
Part of
head cheese is
No,
meat.
head cheese is meat.
Yeah.
But then like sundries would be like the bread.
Is head cheese really meat?
Yes, it is.
Head cheese. Okay, I can
Head
tell you
cheese
this.
is like
I-
pig parts in
no.
like jelly.
Cow.
Cow.
They take the cow's head after they butcher the cow, right? And do all their fucking horrifying things to make the food that you and I love. They take the head. They boil it.
Yeah.
Until everything sloughs off. Slough's a good word. It
is.
ends in a
Yeah.
GH,
Yeah.
but sounds like an F. Everything fucking sloughs off. Eyeballs, lips, everything just fucking ends up in a gelatinous mess.
Yeah.
Then they form it, and then that's head cheese.
So I want to.
You want to try it?
No.
Oh,
no.
okay.
I want to know who created it. Like
Necessity.
when this happened.
It's poor people.
This must.
Yeah,
It must
poor
have been.
people.
Yeah.
Poor people. We talked about this a little bit off air before.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
People of our parents' generation, or more so their parents, they ate shit that they had to.
Right.
And for some reason,
The Great Depression.
right, some of them didn't let go of that shit.
Would haggis be up there with that?
No, haggis
that's
is
Scottish.
Haggis is Scottish. So that's actually like they love that.
Yeah.
Head
They're
cheese.
I don't know if you know Scottish people, but they're just drunk all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, that fucking
I am
anything.
Scottish.
Well, then you know. Then you know all about this.
You know what is Scotland's martial art? Fuck you.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Heed,
Head.
heed, down in front.
Look at the size of that cranium.
Let's get back to sundries
It's
later.
like
though.
an orange with a toothpick stuck in it.
Head pants now.
It's got its own weather system.
You know, they made a whole show. Mike Myers made a whole show on Netflix about something that character says when he's talking about the people that run the world.
Oh, I forgot.
He made a show out of that in the summertime, and he played all the characters.
Oh my god!
I heard some people say it was good. I heard some people say it was bad.
Really?
But it's actually based on that one line. I can't remember what he says.
I can't either.
The triumvirate or something.
Yeah, he's like they meet at a secret location.
Yes.
Smart ass.
and the show is about that. All right.
Yeah.
Back to the Prowler.
Sorry.
Who's not jerking
She
off in your
smelled
window.
of soup. That's all I can remember of that movie.
He broke
My
up
kids
with
have made jokes about that shit to
Yeah.
me when I started dating. They're like, "Yeah, it's another person you're going out on a date with, Dad. Did this one smell of soup?"
You're just reaching for fucking reasons not to go out with them again. Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah. Well, I think that's natural. I think that's
I
natural.
think so.
So
I hope so. I don't know.
She runs back to her dorm room.
Right.
And the door's kind of open, and she makes it a point to be like, "Hey, I know you're in there." She shuts the door.
Yeah.
The door starts to open again, but she doesn't notice that. She goes over to the closet and she changes out. We don't see anything though. She changes out of the white costume and into a nice green number.
Yeah, green.
Green number. And then she leaves the dorm room, and she notices the door open again, but no big deal.
Right.
She leaves the dorm room, and as she gets down the hallway in this clearly not a dorm but a hotel,
Sure.
she sees.
As someone who's slept there, I can agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She sees a person in fatigues
Right.
on the other end, kind
Pretty
of just staring
early,
at her.
right? Like this is pretty early
it
to
was
see
in
the
the
killer.
stairwell. She saw the door
Yeah.
open and then the
Right.
shadow of.
She sees the shadow, right?
For a slasher, this is pretty early for our final girl to see.
Yeah,
It's first
it
20
was.
minutes.
It really was.
Yeah.
First 20 minutes of the
And
movie.
sorry, spoiler alert, I'm calling her the final girl. But
Yeah.
it
She,
is
but
what it
even more spoiler alert, she survives totally.
Yeah. Right.
Bob, what do you think about, like, okay, so we're talking about, like, in the pantheon of some of these slasher movies that we all know Michael Myers and the jumpsuit and the William Shatner mask, and obviously Jason in the baghead or the hockey mask. Something like My Bloody Valentine. We got the miner with the. Where do you put this military costume?
I would put it. I mean, I would probably put it up there with My Bloody Valentine. It's an underrated.
It's
get
great
up for a slasher. I think. I think it's a great look.
What is like the mask he's wearing? It's like, is it just? It almost looks like a mosquito net or something.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, because
I always wonder how the fuck he sees out of there.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
So he's in full fatigues. If you haven't seen this movie, he's got like a camouflage.
He looks badass.
Yeah, he does. And as we said before, he's
and
got
the helmet like that.
the
fucking-
helmet, like
yeah.
an old World War. He's in World War. He's in the same garb he had on in the beginning of the movie,
Right.
but he's got this giant knife on the side. He has a fucking double barrel shotgun now that he's toting around. He doesn't use it until the end, but and then he carries the pitchfork's the one thing that doesn't make sense with his costume.
Yeah,
because unless they did some stuff in World War II that I didn't know about.
Maybe he was a farmer
He
in
might
World
have
War
been.
II. I don't know.
He might have been. So
I've actually. I
Overseas
think
farmer.
that I have actually heard of. There's been some soldiers that had like a small pitchfork.
I know that they had like shovels.
Yeah.
They almost
always have shovels.
Yeah, they had shovels because what they had to do, dig trenches and stuff. But the pitchfork's kind of weird.
I swear I seen something about that.
Oh, yeah?
I wanna bring
'Cause
this
I
up.
remember I was looking that up, and when I first saw the movie, I was like, "How the fuck is that part of that?" And I looked it up, and I think that it said something about that.
Interesting.
I want to bring this
carried
up
that.
before I forget this
Please.
because I'm going to forget this.
Please.
Did either one of you also feel like, as I did, that when she eventually breaks his pitchfork off in the door, it's way too easy?
Yeah,
Like that's a solid.
Yeah.
those are pretty solid. She literally just grabs it and pushes it against the door, and the handle
She
breaks.
basically Bo Jacksoned it.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
Yeah.
like when
Yeah.
Bo
Yeah,
used to
she-
break that bat over his knee. Like, I don't think she's as strong as Bo Jackson was.
She with one hand.
Yeah.
And the door's not all the way shut, so there's not like that much pressure against
Right.
it. She just kind of pushes
And it
the
just
thing
snaps.
cracks, and I thought, bullshit. Okay, I just want to make sure it wasn't the only one.
and then I think she threw it on the ground. I'm like,
She threw it. Yeah.
Don't use that or
Don't
anything.
use that.
No.
Just please throw it.
well, there's another point, right, where was it this movie or am I thinking of something else?
no, you're thinking of the next
I'm thinking of the next movie
Yeah, we'll get
where,
into
where a
that.
gun is just like, fuck it, I'm not going to pick that
I don't
up.
want to pick that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about
We'll
that.
talk
scene.
about
yeah,
that.
we'll get
Yeah.
to that. Definitely.
All right. So she gets chased for a little bit, and she eventually runs into Sheriff Tigerbeat, and he's like,
Right.
what happened? And she tells him.
It's Cillian Murphy.
And let's just be honest. I'm going to be honest. We go into a pretty long section of this movie where it's like, It's like the Detective Adventures of fucking of Amy Steele Jr. and fucking Tiger Beat.
There's a lot of exploring.
When she's running, she gets stopped by Major Chatham.
Yes.
And he grabs her and like,
which was never really
nothing.
They never went back to that.
Never.
Like, why? How did he even get outside?
Yeah.
What was he doing outside?
I waited for until the end to see if we got back to that, and we did not get back to that.
I don't know if he was looking for Mr. White. I have no idea. I don't know what Joe Cabot was up to. But he was outside.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. They never really explained it. But that's okay.
Motherfucker looks like the thing.
Looks like the thing.
So we get like kind of this whole segment where they go and they're checking stuff out. Obviously, seems to be a killer on the loose. The deputy is the law, right? And he's armed and everything. He keeps leaving her like alone in places, like in the car.
Yeah.
Just poor planning. Like just have her with you. Planning. Or if you're going to investigate, drop her off at the fucking dance. Say, hey.
Which he tried to do later on.
He did do that.
Yeah, and she was like, fuck you, man.
She was like, it was kind of really shitty.
It was almost like a breakup.
It was like she turned around to see if
he's like, I just can't have you fucking tagging along everywhere I go.
Oh, okay. I saw it, but I must have like missed that.
It was an easy
but that was more towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like right where they're about to go to Chatham's house.
There's the whole part where we'll jump ahead a little bit. There's the whole part where he's like checking out a grave that's been robbed.
Yeah. Yes.
He's in a cemetery. There's at least a killer on the loose and possibly a prowler jerking off all over everybody. Right. And he leaves her in the fucking car.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, and then
slow adult comes.
The slow adult comes.
It's
just like
he just like
maybe
sticks his head
he
in the
was
window.
thinking that it was a prowler that was just jerking off. So he was like,
yeah,
she's fine.
Yeah. She's fine. Worst thing's gonna happen.
She's seen jerk off.
Yeah,
she's seen people jerk off before.
Cum cleans up nice and easy. Yeah. All right, so let's go through a couple more people that are here at the party itself.
Yeah,
we get told that there's a prowler.
Yep,
and the woman who is like, I don't know, she's a chaperone or a teacher.
Like a teacher.
Yeah,
she tells everybody you need to stay in the fucking party.
Here's the killer part. I understand the need in a case like this to tell everybody to chill out, like you have to stay because there's a fucking killer, right?
Sure.
But she stops the band in the middle of a song.
Yeah.
Just gets up there and she's grabbing the guitar neck like you can't make chords.
I would have punched her right in the fucking eye. Don't you touch my guitar?
They were right in a good part with this.
It was
what the fuck?
She stops.
First of all, a random person touches my guitar in a show. Yeah. I'm gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a problem.
Oh, I can picture it. I mean, totally rude.
Touch my fucking guitar.
And she gets on and she tells everybody there's a prowler. And I don't know. I'm not saying that I wouldn't want to like party more, but I would appreciate that. Like, you're not letting me go outside. These people are like, fuck it, we want to get masturbated on. I wanted him to jerk off on me.
And they tell her what? They tell her that Lisa's gone. They tell her they're like, oh, thank you for keeping us all inside, but Lisa's missing.
Yes, Lisa's missing, and then you get the other guy who's drunk and just like,
oh yes,
he's making a fucking big deal.
Wasn't that Paul?
Paul?
Yeah.
There's somebody else in this fucking room.
Like, fucking, I'm drunk and I'll fight everybody.
Yeah, he's a real tough guy.
That's exactly what he said,
yeah,
too.
Pretty much. I'm pretty sure I've kicked that guy out of the Strand 3 times.
I like the fact that when they get him to the drunk tank, he keeps mouthing off to the deputy.
Yeah.
But then when
Pam's like,
shut the fuck up, and he just shuts up.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
He's like, nope, now I'm in big trouble.
All right,
so by this point, though, where we are, Lisa's been killed, right? Hasn't Lisa been killed?
Is Lisa the hooker friend in the swimming pool?
Yes.
No, she has not yet.
Oh, she hasn't yet? Okay.
She sneaks out and goes.
She snuck out.
Right.
Yeah.
She goes unskinny dipping. We get her in like her tight.
She's like, I got to get out of this party and swim. She's like, it's time to swim. Yeah. Because, listen, when I'm at like a high school dance, I'm always like,
I got to cool off in the fucking pool.
If I could just get out of here and jump in a pool right now, things would be fucking prime.
Just cool off in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
What was the worst that can happen?
Yeah,
Prowler goes and jerks off in the pool.
Yeah, maybe there's cum in the pool already. Right. I have no idea.
Look, let's be honest. The chlorine will kill that cum.
Will kill it. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Possible.
So she goes and she's and this is kind of a disappointing like all white attire wet scene because I don't see anything. Like we don't get to see anything.
Yeah,
she's swimming and then all of a sudden. As she tries, this is brutal. This is fucking brutal. Yeah. She's climbing out of the pool, and this motherfucker kicks her dead in the fucking squaw, right in the face.
Listen, I'd love to see someone get kicked in the face, though. So I was kind of for it.
My only problem with that scene So she gets kicked dead in the face.
Yeah.
She falls into the water, and she acts as if she got kicked in the face. She's almost
she's
drowning.
like, and she's like fucking discombobulated.
Totally
like,
discombobulated.
Yeah.
No blood. I'm sorry.
No, she would have a busted nose.
Military grade boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he fucking kicked it like he was kicking
Dead in
a
the
fucking kickball.
Yeah. She would have had a busted nose.
She would have had a busted nose.
No doubt about it.
She finally thinks she's gonna get out, and that motherfucker's in the water with her. He jawses her.
Yeah.
He fucking, and then we get again Savini again.
Yeah.
We get a
classic. That's classic Savini with the cutout.
Yeah.
The knife cut out.
fucking right through the throat. He almost, as if you've ever heard, O.J. Simpson apparently almost took her head off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He fucking goes deep. Like her head is almost like off.
Yep.
So-
It's a good scene. She's underwater and it's still pumping.
Yeah.
You can see that was a fantastic
Really good
scene.
Really
it
good
really
scene.
was.
Savini has said he still feels this is his best work ever.
I
read
think
that.
it really was. I
read
really
that.
do.
Yeah, and he's done. I mean, for a guy like that who did Day of the Dead, to say that this is his best work ever, that's pretty crazy.
So Bob, the next character who comes out and finds the scene is the teacher.
Yes.
She comes out, finds the scene, and I think the scene that's great is when she sees all the blood in the pool.
No, but hold on. She walks around that pool for like 5 fucking minutes. Lisa.
doesn't
I'm like, bitch, it looks like Alex Kittner just got eaten in that fucking pool.
It looks like the orca's chum line. Yeah.
How are you just walking around this pool yelling for Lisa? The pool is red.
Yeah,
Completely
it is.
fucking red. And not to mention Lisa's fucking, is she floating? I don't even know if she's in there.
No, she's gone.
She's gone.
in-
Oh, that's right, because she's
gone.
in the fucking, spoiler alert, she's in the casket, right? Isn't she in the fucking casket?
Yes, she's in the casket, yeah.
So, but still, it's all fucking full of blood. And this teacher's like, Lisa? Just walking around the pool. Lisa? It took her
Well,
like
this is the
fucking-
movie where it takes like a whole day to find 2 bodies in a shower.
That's true.
That's been running for a whole
This
day.
is true.
Because it was fucking daytime the next day when they finally found. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe she's still in the fucking shower.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, no, how dumb are you, girl from Carbon Copy? She's not fucking still in the shower.
So the teacher, what happens to her, Bob?
Oh, she gets fucked up she gets the knife, a knife jammed into her throat.
Pulled up like right
Yeah.
against a
Pulls
fence,
up.
right from behind.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Comes up behind her and just
That's right.
jams the
Yeah.
knife into her throat.
Yep.
And then you just see her kicking her feet and just blood.
Takes care of her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now we don't get anybody else dying, right? We get a couple of decoys, right? Because we get the couple in the basement that start to like fuck,
Yeah.
but then they run afoul of the weird like caretaker.
Yeah.
But they don't. Nothing happens to them.
No.
Kill
It's,
wise.
it's the old man that was at the dance. He's down there watching.
But I
them.
think I think that they were inferring that he was the guy. Remember in the beginning of the movie when the
Yeah.
rich kid bumps into the guy and she's like, "Oh, don't worry, he lives in the basement." I think
Right.
that's him.
The slow adult.
Yeah,
He
well,
was a slow
He's
child.
another slow adult. Yeah, yeah,
He was just a slow child.
yeah. So let's pump it.
We're about to skip over one of my favorite
Oh
parts.
well, let's not skip it.
Let's please.
not skip it.
I think it was when it was at the part where fucking Paul's in the lockup and Pam's telling him to shut the fuck up. And
Oh my god!
Killian Murphy calls the fucking. He's like, I gotta call the fucking sheriff. He's
This
like,
oddly incredible comedic scene that happens out of
Shit.
Oh
nowhere.
my
he's
god!
like, shit has gone
my
completely
God.
out of control. I gotta call the sheriff up at his cabin. We gotta interrupt the all important fishing trip because, like you said at the beginning, the fishing trip is the most important thing in the sheriff's life. Everybody in town knows that the sheriff's fishing
The
trip.
sheriff's fishing trip is a
Yeah.
fucking question on Jeopardy the night before.
Right. Yes.
Right? Like,
100%.
everybody knows about it.
So he fucking calls up to the cabin, which apparently the cabins don't have their own phones.
You got to call the
You
main
gotta
phone.
call the main.
and then get the fat guy in the Red Sox hat to go to your door and relay messages.
Typical fucking Red Sox fan, right? Just fucking lazy
Stay
and
classy,
fucking
Boston.
just lazy and not gonna help you out with fucking anything. This guy is. What's he playing? Solitaire? Who the fuck plays solitaire anymore? Like,
Well, but this was
after
pre-computer
1912,
days.
I don't
yeah.
care. 1912.
Yeah.
I don't care. Who's playing funny that I said 1912 when I'm talking about the Red Sox.
Red Sox.
Yeah, so he calls and he's like, this guy is completely put out. He's just trying to eat his fucking sandwich and play solitaire. And he's like, listen, can you go find, I'm a cop. He never says I'm a cop,
No.
right? Like I immediately would have played that card. Listen, asshole, I'm a fucking cop. People are getting killed in this fucking town. Go get fucking Sheriff Fraser before I fucking send the fucking Stadies up. There's Stadies in Boston, right? Before I fucking send the Stadies up there and fucking. He never says that. He's just like, hey, I need to talk to fucking Sheriff George. And so this guy just puts the phone down,
he slams
makes
his
some
half
noises.
door.
Yeah,
He slams his half
Slams
door
the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to make it seem like he
make it
left.
seems like he's going to fucking find.
He continues to play solitaire.
Yeah.
I think he take some more chaw,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
and then he's just like. Then eventually he makes the same sounds to make it sound like he's coming back.
Right.
This scene is like 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's so
and then he goes
weird.
another 2 minutes to find a pencil.
Yeah.
That's behind his goddamn ear.
Behind his ear, and then he writes it down on a bag that's under like a plate
under
he
like
has.
a plate of pizza. I want
Yeah.
to slap this guy in his fat fucking face.
So we learn though,
Yeah.
from what he says,
Right.
is that Sheriff Fraser is not in his cabin. But we also know he never checked.
Right.
And he keeps using the excuse of he doesn't know because he only got there an hour ago.
Yeah. So we don't know that Sheriff Fraser's not really there. Sheriff Fraser could very well be in his cabin.
He could be there.
Fucking,
He's not, though.
Fucking a fish or
He's
whatever the sheriff does.
Spoiler, he's not.
Okay.
So we get to the point where we find Rosemary's grave, right? And Lisa's in there. And it all kind of starts to come together.
Right.
This
is around where they figure out that Rosemary is Major Chatham's daughter. How does nobody in town ever know
Yeah,
this?
it's like this big secret that makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god.
And how long has her body been
in the fireplace?
In the fireplace. Is that
I think they just took her. I think
he took her out and put her in there?
the killer took her out and put her in. Weird place, weird flex. Strange place to hide the body. Like, I know, I'll just jam her up in this fireplace for a little while.
Yeah.
Like, little bizarre. But again, how has nobody in this town ever known that Rosemary Chatham, who was killed in 1945, which was obviously a big deal because we haven't had a school dance ever since.
Right. We stopped all activities because of this.
Right. We've never known that it was Major Chatham's daughter.
Yeah.
Could have been a Halloween prop too.
Could have. I mean,
It's
I
very
guess.
possible.
I guess.
Jam right the fuck up in that thing.
Yeah.
So we get to
Why was she reaching up in there? Oh, because there was a
There was a
necklace.
necklace
she saw the
hanging
necklace.
down,
was
yeah.
hanging.
She saw
Okay.
the locket hanging down.
Okay.
She reaches up in there and then the fucking
And who wasn't surprised that was going to happen?
Oh no.
Right.
I had a
saw
feeling
that coming a mile away.
I had a feeling something was going to happen. So let's get to the very end of this, where essentially it makes no sense to me at all. But the killer now is in the. They're in the house, right? At this point,
Yeah.
The killer's in the house. He subdues a deputy.
It was
he bonks him.
real fucking easy.
He bonks him, right?
But he
No, I think he just put his arm around his neck and he passed out.
Well,
right.
it's-
He doesn't kill him for a reason, which I think is maybe because
No, I
of
think
who
he was.
is.
I
right?
thought he was gonna kill him, and the fucking lights cut out or something.
Oh, I thought it
Yeah,
just seemed like
he had the pitchfork.
Yeah, he had the
up
pitchfork, and then
up
something-
ready to go right into
yeah,
okay.
something happened that he didn't. I don't remember exactly.
I was thinking maybe because of who it was. Maybe he had a little bit of like.
no, I think
all
he
right.
was gonna fucking kill him.
So then it's him chasing Amy
Carbon
Steele
copy
part
girl.
2
Yeah.
all around. They end up in a bunch of different rooms. Speaking of Amy Steele, she hides under a piece
the
of
bed.
under
Under
Yep.
the bed,
and
the rat.
a la part 2 of Friday the 13th, a rat.
A rat comes. Yep.
All we needed was for her to piss her pants. She
Yeah.
did not.
No.
And then
I always thought it was the rat that pissed.
Oh, and Friday the
Friday
13th.
the
too?
13th.
That'd have been
Friday
a lot
too.
of piss.
that's a lot of
I don't
piss.
think you
That's a lot
could.
of-
I don't
that
think
is
you
a lot
could
of
fit
piss.
that much
I don't-
piss
yeah,
That's
inside
a
of a
lot
rat.
of piss for a rat.
That's a lot of piss. That's a lot of for that body volume.
I mean,
don't know.
listen, I've never watched a rat piss.
But I mean,
Oh, I have.
Oh, have you?
Oh, there's a
She
whole
was-
Pornhub category for that.
Oh shit!
I don't. I still don't get it to this day. She was wearing pants. How do you piss that much?
That
Your pants had to have soaked up some of it. I don't think you're
that
making a
fucking
point like that.
that fucking bag-headed mongoloid's coming after you. You're pissing through those jeans.
You're very much.
You're fucking blasting you're blasting piss right. It's fucking atomizing out of
Another
your
slow
body.
adult with a pitchfork's coming at you.
Yeah, really.
You're gonna piss under the fucking bed.
Oh man. So he's chasing her around. We get the scene where she breaks the pitchfork, and eventually they end up in what would be called in the old days a tussle.
Yes.
Right? They're tussling, they're wrestling. At one point, she's in like a dress, and it almost seems like she gets him in a guard, like a MMA guard.
Yeah.
But he's on top of her, and he is just about to fucking get her, right? Just about to kill her, and then all of a sudden a fucking blast happens, right? A fucking shotgun blast, and fucking
Out of the slow adult.
out
to
of the slow
rescue.
adult, right?
Yep.
Bob, how did you feel about the really weird scene where they stared at each other
It
for
was
about
creepy.
2 minutes?
It was really creepy.
I'm not sure what happened.
So the slow,
He gives her a look like, Are we gonna fuck?
Yeah, you thought so too. Like, is that my reward for saving your life? Like, I get to touch your puss.
Yeah.
Right.
So he had come to the graveyard earlier, and she was afraid
Which is
of
a
him.
great reward.
Right, it is a great reward.
Yeah.
It is. More people would do more things if that's what was.
I agree.
What you got.
God, I would get it. I would. Yeah.
Well, walk across hot coals.
Yeah.
But so earlier in the movie, when she was in the Jeep in the graveyard, he came and scared her. But now we have the idea of maybe he's been following her the whole time to
protect her.
Right.
Yeah.
They have this really awkward scene where they stare at each other for a while, and then we forgot. But when the fucking killer in the beginning was getting Batmaned up, he had a fucking double barrel shotgun,
right.
sawed off. He fucking kills the slow adult.
Yeah.
He blows him to fucking shit.
Poor Otto.
Poor Otto. Now he goes down.
I think he still had that look on his face when he went down too.
Oh well, he's like, his thought was like, I thought I was gonna get pussy, and instead I got shot. Right?
That sucks.
He goes down. Now, do they wrestle? Now they're wrestling again with
Wrestling
with the
with the
shotgun
gun now, yeah.
Right? They go back for part 2 with the shotgun.
Yep.
And
Listen, she looks like a strong girl.
she looks like she
broke
probably
that. She broke that pitchfork.
She did break the pitchfork.
easily.
She Bo Jackson the shit out
Easily.
of that pitchfork.
So-
Yeah.
she probably played like
One
fucking
tough bitch.
lacrosse or something, right?
Was lacrosse a thing? Maybe Quidditch. I don't know.
Quidditch. Yeah, she was the seeker. So
Yeah.
so as they're fighting over the gun, he takes the mask off.
No, I think she.
He does.
He does.
He does take.
Oh,
the
does
mask
he
It's
take
like,
it
off.
it's like after this whole
He pulls
movie,
the
he's like,
mask
this
off.
thing's getting.
He's like,
fucking warm.
enough of this fucking shenanigans.
So he pulls off that fucking camouflage sock off his head, and holy
bum,
fuck,
bum,
it's
bum.
Farley Granger,
Yep.
aka Rope Strangers on a Train, aka
Yep.
Sheriff
Not
Fraser,
fucking fishing.
Right?
Not fishing.
Sheriff Fraser, who got dumped 35 fucking years ago, and I still can't figure out why he's killing all these kids. Why is he mad at them?
Because he didn't
He hates romance.
kill anybody else after he killed Rosemary.
Right.
Listen, I would have killed Ron too. I get it. The guy's
I
a
totally
fucking
get it.
cunt. And he's
And
off.
Carl.
He's off fighting fucking
Yeah.
Germans, and this one breaks up with him. So maybe you stick a pitchfork through her. I can understand that.
Bob, do you think it's a one man thing
but
against
he
romance?
didn't
Yeah, I think
kill
that's what it
anybody
is.
else in 1945.
Right. He became a goddamn cop.
35 years.
That's not easy.
35 years. Suppress
Something
the rage.
triggered him.
The dance. He's John Lithgow. He hates dancing.
You think that the dance is what did it?
The dance is what did it. They haven't had a dance in 35 years and everything's been fine.
Yeah.
Now, having a dance again, he's like, oh, nope. No fucking dancing. Not on my watch.
That is some footloose shit.
It is.
It is.
Footloose.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Totally.
That's what it is. This is Footloose.
kinda-
Footloose fucking ripped off the Prowler.
Yeah.
3 years later, right?
Yeah.
God damn.
All right, Bob, real quick. We're talking about Tom Savini. What did you think about the fucking nuclear head blast we get at the end of this thing?
That was impressive. It was Savini. I thought that it was almost as good as Maniac.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
head explosion.
Did you think for a second, though, when you see it, that there's no way there was that much stuff in his head?
There was a lot.
Like those caramel creams came out. Remember those with like the white center? There was like
Cowtails?
Necco wafers flying around. Like
His head was like a fucking pinata.
it was fucking crazy.
candy corn.
you get-
fucking
you
like
get-
those little packs of Twizzlers.
You get the standard
Peace.
shit, like his eyes, his
Yeah.
brains, and then boxes of nerds.
yeah.
Fucking
Tootsie Rolls and those fucking candy pumpkins.
ribbon candy from your fucking grandmother's house.
Those fucking circle peppermints with the red stripes, the red and white
I
stripes.
see the growing trend here. I like it.
You like that, right? Like this guy's head goes up like a fucking pinata.
Yeah. It was fucking bananas.
The movie just kind of like essentially the story ends there.
Yeah. I wanted to see her covered in brain matter.
Nothing.
Call
no.
me crazy.
Yeah.
He deputy fucking Tiger Beat brings her back to the
Right.
dorm, and I do like the scene. Although I want to talk about something real quick with it. She goes upstairs and she realizes
God damn, they're still in the fucking shower.
we forget that nobody ever found these bodies.
Right.
So she goes in and she finds the bodies and she's terrified. But Bob, what is a trope that happens in every goddamn 80s
Jump
slasher?
scare is coming.
Did you think? And we're going to talk about what we think of the movie. The Carl character who looks like a zombie because his eyes are white. He's hung
Or
from,
somebody from Scanners.
Yeah. He fucking grabs her and she freaks out and then she eventually kind of wakes up and the movie ends there, right? Do you need that? Did you need that?
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a little cheap jump scare.
It seems like Carrie did that, and then everybody was like, that right there has to happen.
You know how terrifying that must have been the first time people saw Carrie in the theater?
Oh, fuck yeah.
People must have lost their goddamn
And-
minds.
and-
So then every movie was like, hey.
That's probably what they were aiming for
Yeah.
when they made that.
And
I'm sure.
Funnily enough, Carrie, out of all of them, being the first, when you watch it now, it's super tame.
Right.
The hand comes out really slow.
Yep.
Like, it's not like a surprise, but like this one was like I can imagine this one being like, holy fuck, I just shit myself.
Dude, I remember seeing Carrie when I was a kid and having fucking nightmares. Like, that scared me more than anything in that movie. That little scene, but I was also a child.
Yeah.
So yeah, I completely get.
Was it scarier than what's her name? Nancy Allen's weird blowjob scene where she's blowing John Travolta, but she's like, his dick is supposedly in her mouth, but she's having a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Oh, so what do you want to do tomorrow night? It's like that's not how a blowjob works, Nancy Allen.
I mean, maybe I don't know the size of Travolta's dick. I don't. He might have a little button. I have no
little
idea.
button?
Yeah.
She's like, you know what I like about sucking your dick is that I can suck your dick and talk at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah, I'm also chewing a piece of gum.
Yep.
And I'm whistling.
And I'm eating a fucking cheeseburger.
And I'm eating a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
I'm doing 5 things all while pleasuring you. All right, so that's the story of the Prowler.
That's the Prowler.
But you know what we got to do on the Scary Larry episodes? Favorite kill time, kids.
Favorite kill. Dun, ba, 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 ba.
That's for my wife. Fuck you and die.
So we talked about some of them. Let's go to Bob first. Bob, we talked about the kills. We talked about, and we obviously all talked about like one of them that's really great. But what is your favorite kill in this film?
Oh, obviously the bayonet through the head.
You're going with the Carl kill.
Yeah, Carl. That's still to this day. I still think it's probably one of my favorite kills in a slasher flick.
Do you think that the eyes put it fucking over the top?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
The eyes and his cheeks sinking in, getting sunken in, and yeah, it's like Savini. He must have seen some fucked up shit back in the war.
Yeah,
and it's like he knew this is what probably would happen if this were to be done to someone. So
yeah.
it was impressive.
All right, he's going with the bayonet kill. I'm going to go a little bit off center.
Yeah.
I'm going with the pool kill, mostly for the kick to the face.
Yeah. It's a good kick.
Look,
a good kick.
we cannot lie. If we're going to go with best kill in this movie, it's the bayonet through the head.
Yeah.
I can't not say that. That's incredible. That's an incredible kill. But favorite, I'm going with with that whole thing. Kicks her dead in the face. I wish that we had some blood, broken nose.
Sure.
And then fucking like she truly is fucking disoriented. She's almost drowning.
She plays it well.
She
Yeah,
does.
she does. Yeah.
She can't get up straight. She can't swim. She can't stand up. She can't do anything. And then he fucking like almost cuts her head off.
Right.
But that kick to the face is fucking brutal.
I do love a kick to the face.
It's brutal. And I think part of the brutality of it is that in so many slashers, it's all weaponry. You know, it's all like, you know, a knife and this and a pitchfork. And that's just like a straight up, like fucking like body to body, like fucking maneuver. So that's mine. Larry, what are you going to go with?
You know, I hate to be like everybody else. Well, I can't be like everybody else because you both have different ones. But
50-50.
I'm gonna side with Bob.
Yeah.
It's always been not only my favorite in this movie, but one of my favorites in any slasher as well.
It is
just
great.
a great scene. As soon as you see the knife go through the bottom of the chin, it's just like, whoa, and then the eyes roll back, and you're like, holy fuck. Like, it's brutal, man.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, you could have just done a knife through the head and blood shoot out and it's done. And okay, you know, that's pretty bad. But I mean, it's just brutal.
Yeah.
And it goes on.
Yeah.
It's not a quick scene.
No.
Not a quick scene. It fucking lingers.
It's like as he
And
fucks
he's
with the
digging
knife,
it. He's like digging
the
it.
fucking
Yeah.
face is like, you know,
Yep.
whatever that is. I'm assuming it's some kind of plaster. Or,
Yeah. It's great.
it's crazy.
I mean, I love an exploding head.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, that we can't not say that.
Yeah.
That's
Think about that.
but
How
Dawn-
that feels when you push
No, I don't
your
wanna.
button on the top of your
Oh, yeah.
head from your hat.
Yeah.
That shit hurts, man.
Yeah.
Just imagine him.
Yeah.
No.
We'd seen him do the exploding head in Dawn and
Maniac.
and Maniac.
Yeah.
And you know, it looked great, and then it always looks great. I love, you know, when candy flies out of people's heads. But that bayonet scene is that's juicy. That's
All right.
nice.
Well, you know what time it is now. Let's rate this thing.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
All right, Larry, on these episodes, what's the criteria? What are we rating this on?
I think we're going with Lazy Hotel Clerks.
Lazy Hotel Clerks for 500, Alex. All right. So on a scale of 0 to 5, 0 being the absolute worst, 5 being the best, quarter and half scale optional. Larry, I'm going to go you first.
Sure.
What do you give 1981's The Prowler, a.k.a. Rosemary? And if you're out there in
Rosemary's Killer.
another country listening to this, maybe it's called Rosemary's Killer where you're listening.
Which makes a lot more sense.
It does. It does.
Than The Prowler does, but it is what it is. The Prowler's long been a favorite. A favorite.
I like
My
it.
favorite too.
I like it a lot. It is slow at times, but it never bores me, even when it gets slow. I like looking at in the deputy's eyes, deep into his luscious blue eyes. It makes me happy. Very similar story to My Bloody Valentine, which a lot of people enjoy more. These are very similar movies.
Yeah, you're right.
Very similar movies. Except for one has Mines and the other one, has Lawrence Tierney. But
Major Chatham?
Yeah, Major Chatham, which really goes nowhere in this movie. But a lot of people do prefer My Bloody Valentine. I don't. I prefer The Prowler. But that's not to shit on My Bloody Valentine.
The Prowler is 100% less Canadian.
It is definitely a lot less Canadian. There's a lot less Molson beer.
Yeah.
in this movie, a lot less moose as well. I don't think there was a moose.
No,
actually,
I think it's
My
more
Bloody
like just
Valentine.
everybody in the movie is severely Canadian.
It's very Canadian.
What do you think's happening down in them mines, eh?
Yeah.
You know?
What's this all about?
What's this all about, eh?
Yeah.
Someone's killing everybody, huh? Buddy.
Yeah. What's going on, Philip? Yeah. So it's I do love My Bloody Valentine, but I do prefer The Prowler. For me, I'm going to give it. It does have its issues, but I still enjoy it. I'm a little torn, actually, but I'm not going to go over 4. I'll go 3.75.
Wow. 3.75.
3.75 Lazy Hotel Clerks.
All right.
For The Prowler.
Fair. We're going to end with Bob because he's our guest tonight, and he actually he gets to go last because of that. So I'm going to go next. I enjoy this movie, but there's a but. Mm-hmm. It slows down to a fucking
But does it
halt.
bore you? Because it does slow down, but I don't get.
It kind of does.
Does
bore
it?
me.
Okay.
Like when the Major Chatham scene, I'm literally like fucking
It
like
makes no sense.
I'm like, come on, man.
It's not boring. It just doesn't make any sense.
I
Why
think
is he grabbing at her? I
yeah.
don't know.
Well,
Why-
not even. I'm not
is he
about
outside?
that scene. I'm talking about the scene where they're in his house.
Oh, okay.
That seems to go on for
and
fucking
they're walking
ever.
around.
does go
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah,
It does go on for a while.
there's a bit.
Okay.
So this movie, what it does well, it does very well. This is one of the per kill capita.
Yeah.
This might be one of the best slashers of all time. There's not a ton of kills. It's not like, a Friday the 13th movie where he kills 10 people.
Right.
But
They're great.
they're all great kills. Every one of these kills is really good. So that has to be said. Tom Savini is incredible. Again, the knife through the head, that's super memorable. But I think it kind of and also the killer's look is awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's very iconic. Like that's like horror iconic. I'm going 2.5.
Ooh,
I'm going
wow.
2.5. I don't dislike this movie, but I'm going to go. It's pretty average otherwise. If it wasn't for the kills, it would be lower.
You can't take the kills out of a slasher movie.
What I mean is, if the kills weren't as inventive, if it was another, I can't think of another slasher movie where the kills are just kind of like very. If it was a very bland thing where it's just some guy with a knife stabbing people, it would have dropped this down. But the killer, his look, and the actual kills drag it up a bit for me. I'm going to go 2.5. Bob,
I think you got to go higher than that just for the hotel clerk. But what do you want from me?
that scene is really cool.
Yeah.
And I give it credit because it seems like it shouldn't even be in this movie.
No.
It seems like it's out of
It's
left
the
field.
comic relief.
Yeah.
It's not even just the comic relief. I can imagine people in 1981 at the theater just kind of being like, that was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't that guy have just gone to check the fucking cabin?
It really seemed like
Yeah.
it would have almost made more sense.
It went on so long. He put that phone down for it felt like 4 minutes.
You know what it felt like to me? It felt like in a movie like that, where that would have been a scene where, like, let's say it was like some well-known comic playing that role, and you're like, oh, it's a cameo by someone at the time who's popular, and then you get that scene, and you're like, well, You know, the Robin Williams scene was fucking great in that, right? But it's just this weird fucking scene. And it is funny.
Yeah.
It is funny watching him for like 3 minutes pretend to fucking go to a cabin.
Yeah.
It's out of left field. I go 2.5. 2.5 lazy fucking hotel clerks. All right, Bob, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to doing this for a while.
Yeah, you're a friend, you're a listener, you're a Pint Insider, you're the best. What do you give 1981's The Prowler on a scale
All right.
of lazy fucking hotel clerks?
So this movie, I remember watching the Tom Savini Scream Greats, and they had a scene from this movie, and I always was like, what the fuck is that? I never had heard of this movie, and I couldn't find it anywhere in any video store to watch it. And there was a video store I used to always go to. She called and said, "Hey, I got a movie here you're gonna probably want to see." And I went there, and it was The Prowler, and I was excited. Brought it home, put it in, and it was everything I was hoping it would be. Back then, I thought it was amazing. Today, I think it's probably one of the most underrated slasher movies. I think deserves to be up there with the Friday the 13th, the Elm Streets, the Michael Myers movies. I honestly will put it probably above them for me, because this movie still sits with me to this day.
Right.
There is some pacing in it. It is really slow. Like the Major Chatham stuff. I don't know why the fuck's that's in it. But it is funny. The thing is it's the thing I go back to, where I'll say with what Vinegar Syndrome does. They have movies that they put out that make you remember shit for goofy stuff or for the gore, or this has got a lot of different things in here. It's got stupid, goofy things I still laugh at, and it's got the gore, and it's got the coolest fucking slasher outfit. I'm actually gonna be a mark and go 4.5 lazy hotel clerks.
Man, well, fucking somebody had to pull your goddamn score up, Joe.
Yeah, well, hey, it's not averages here. It's all
we're gonna go with an average on this one.
It's all individual. All right,
this is a movie I could watch over, again. I hold it in that high of a regard.
Sounds like you're gonna watch it when you go home.
I might.
Yeah.
I just might. Yeah.
Hey, better than jerking off someone's window.
Says you.
Or I might watch it while jerking off in front of my window.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Let's remember, we learned it earlier. Chlorine kills cum, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
All right. So this has been Scary Larry's House of Horrors Season 3, The Losers List, Episode 2. I don't know which one we're going to do next, so I won't throw it out there.
But this is the only slasher of the bunch.
This is the only slasher of the bunch. We got some interesting.
I knew I had
to
to pick a slasher. That was one of the things when I was picking from the losers, and I had to pick 5. I was like, I gotta put a slasher in here. And I looked through the list, and I was like, oh, fucking easy. There was a few to pick from.
Yeah.
But Prowler was an easy fucking choice.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah. Thank you, Larry.
Yeah, Bob jumped right on that when I told him. He's like, I got to do the Prowler. So, absolutely. So, again, if you're listening to this, don't forget to check out The Pint every single week. Every podcatcher out there, Apple, I don't know what they all are, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. That's where I listen to mine. There's one called Good Pods. Just go subscribe, follow us. New episodes every single week. If you want, if you feel like you want to go do this, Patreon/The Pint. Just click on that and check it out. Several episodes a month that the regular folk out there don't get. And there's some good stuff.
There is a lot of great stuff on there.
Thank you, man. We actually have, if you're a fan of these episodes, Scary Larry's House of Horrors, we have its own thing on that one called Scary Larry's House of Horrors Classics. So far, we talked about The Lost Boys. We did Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead. We'll be doing Phantasm soon. We'll be doing The Exorcist, and we'll be doing the Amityville Horror. That's all happening as well. So check us out there at Facebook. It's The Pint Podcast. If you go to Instagram and Twitter, it's at The Pint Podcast. That's all I got to say. So until next time, Larry.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
Bring me on, baby!